All right, welcome everybody to our RUAC Spoon Challenge number, what was this, 51, I believe. Well, 52, sorry. RUAC Spoon Challenge 52. Thank you, Andreea, I messed it up. So this one was the Romanian spoon that Andreea did the research and came up with the template for, and it's actually, we're linking to her template on her Ponder and Spoon, what was it? Ponder and, how do I always screw this up. Ponder and Spoon website. So with that, I'm going to just spotlight Andreea and let her talk a little bit about how she found this design. And and then we'll take it from there. By the way, she has a wonderful, like 2-hour plus long video about carving this design that she did with Zed Outdoors on the Zed Outdoors channel. She also has an extensive video that she also did with Zed on his channel for colrosing patterns that she'll do for this type of spoon. So both are wonderful resources. I highly urge you to go and check them out if you haven't done so. So Andreea, welcome. Thank you so much for letting us add this to our RUAC Spoon Challenge list of templates. And tell us a little bit about how you found this and your background and all of that.
Yeah, thank you for having me. So the Romanian spoon came about, I think, when I went back home after the pandemic. So I started carving back in Oregon in the US, and then after the pandemic ended, I went to be with my dad for a while. And just being here, by nature, I'm surrounded in my house with different patterns, sewn patterns that my grandmother made for us when we were children. And I just looked at, I wanted to know more about what brought me into carving and why it's such a big passion for me. And knowing that my grandparents were also woodworkers, I was just curious to see, is there a Romanian spoon? I know of the Roma spoon, which I think they're very much related just because there were a lot of Roma people and they were the ones who had this particular trade when they were still making spoons by hand. There still are, but not as much. So I didn't see at the market eating spoons much. So I just took one of the, actually I think I do have, give me 1 second. I do have a spoon, show you that it's how they're actually made here in Romania, and just to show you what I changed about it. So the spoons that are made and you can still buy at the supermarket or at the farmer's market right now are like this. So this is the style of a Romanian spoon. It's made usually from lime or any other really, really soft wood. It's sanded here. It's quite thick. I guess because it's used for cooking and they just try to make it really thick so it'll last a long time. And they sort of have that shape of a flat surface, a little bit of a hump here towards the neck, and then a bowl with a raised lip at the junction. And I liked that shape, but at the time I was just really into flow and wanting to bring some curves. I was making ladles that were really curvy in the hand. So I thought I'll just bring that into the Romanian spoons and make them a little bit more feminine looking, I guess, whatever that means, flowy. So I started with just making this shape, which is similar to the template. And compared to this, it's much more flowy, and the idea is still that it has that little hump transition and the raised lip, and the surface here on the handle is mainly used for decoration. I don't have one that is they're more traditional kind, which is very much like the Welsh spoons. The handles are heavily decorated.
Oh, wow.
I don't have any of that. And so that's kind of how it came about. I just fell in love with it, made a whole bunch of them. And I was also experimenting with making the same shape in a row. Up until then, I was just creating spoons, like one-off spoons. They were just my creative journey. And for once I thought, oh, I'm just going to experiment making the same spoon. And it just happened to be this Romanian shape that I landed on and wanted to play with. And it was an apple log that my dad brought from the top of the mountain when he went hiking. So it had sort of a little bit of a symbol and a story there. So I made a whole lot of them. And then I had to go to England to teach at one of the festivals. I think it was Spoon Town and then Spoon Fest. And I ended up staying at Deborah's, where I filmed the video with Zed. And I just stayed there for 2 weeks to take care of the house while they were in Switzerland. And all I had, because I couldn't take my knives. Oh no, it was at the bowl gathering. That's what it was. I went to the bowl gathering and then I stayed at Deborah's. And I didn't have any knives with me, only these spoons. I just brought them with me. I don't know why. And at the bowl gathering, I got a chip carving knife. That's all I had with me. So I was stuck at Deborah's for 2 weeks with a bunch of spoons and a chip carving knife. And I thought, I'm just going to start decorating them. And I just spent time decorating and putting Romanian patterns and various patterns onto the spoons. And then just kind of snowballed from there. Like this was more of a serving spoon. It's very similar to the same kind of culture, same style, but this one has some of the chip carving
spectacular
on the handle. And it's the same piece of apple. I think one of the last pieces of apple that I still had. So yeah, that's how it came about. And I don't know exactly the symbol or the reason for the particular shape, but I know that the handles were decorated in Romania. It's Romania is divided in different regions like many other countries, and each region has different traditions and different culture and symbols. So there are local spoons for that particular area, and they have different symbols for those very elaborate spoons. You can still find eating spoons at like flea markets, very rarely. They're not used anymore. They're not really made anymore. So it's a treat to find them. But when it comes to patterns, I think I mentioned this also in the video that I did with Zed, but one of the reasons why this is so close to my heart and it has a significance to me to make this happen, and I feel very honored to bring this sort of back into the world and introduce it to the larger world besides the Romanian culture. I'm starting to bring a lot of the patterns that I see in the traditional clothing that Romania has that are also just like the spoons, very, very particular to each area with particular meanings and particular colors and elaborate stories, and I think related to their beliefs really, and traditions and so forth. So my mom loved those kinds of the clothing, and my grandmother, I used to sew with her when I was little. So I'm sort of bringing both my grandfather's love for woodworking and my grandmother's on both sides love for the patterns, and it sort of goes bigger into the culture itself, into Romanian culture, where I'm trying to celebrate both in one spoon, like the actual shape of a spoon, and also bring some of the other parts of our culture into one element.
Brilliant.
So that's
very nice. That reminds me a lot of James and the quilt patterns, the Pennsylvania Dutch or Pennsylvania, German quilt patterns that she brought into her spoon carving and decorating, trying to find those ties to the culture, that your family's culture, it's hard. I think it's tough for so many. I know for me, like, I feel like I'm a mutt, right? Like, I don't feel like I have a strong connection to any one particular, ethnic or cultural, background. So, we've got so many different nationalities in our family that, and I was not raised with any one particular, although, Polish was a significant part of it. So I should probably try and explore some of that. But it's hard, I think, for a lot of people out there who don't feel connected, especially here, maybe in the U.S., where we're a lot of us are from various immigrants way back, that we don't know necessarily a lot of those cultural ties. So I think it's really cool when for those of us who see someone like yourself or Amy Humble who managed to find and reestablish those strong connections to their roots and bring it into their work. I think it's really inspiring. It's really cool to see. So thank you so much for all you do, and thank you for sharing that story with us.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you.
Cool. All right. Well, with that, I'm going to remove the spotlight, and I'm going to ask for somebody who wants to share their spoon for this month's show and tell. Wave your hand. Let me know if you've got one that you'd like to show. Don't be shy. There's not a lot of us, so this is going to go quick. So if you don't wave your hand, I'm going to start calling on you. Anybody? All right, David, let me go ahead and spotlight you.
Hi, Andreea. It's nice to meet you. And I don't know how long this signal is going to work, because
you're driving.
I'm not driving. My wife is driving.
Oh, okay. Okay, good.
And I'm going to be watching the video from your class. I triple booked today.
Okay.
Well, with apologies, this is catalpa wood, which I don't know how people that.
Yeah, it looks good.
It looks like it's a little blurred. And
nice.
I'm getting closer to not needing to stand, but I need that crutch.
That's okay.
So I try to stick with your pattern as much as possible, but I don't know if it qualifies as Romanian.
No, it's great. It's really great. I had one here that was Greek, actually, and it looks so similar. So it's quite interesting how the culture is like this one. And I'm also part Greek and part Balkan. And this is actually a Greek spoon, and it looks so similar.
You're right. It really does.
Yeah. When you just, a spoon is a spoon is a spoon. And but they're quite similar in curvature. And
there's something I like about the separation and the raised bowl. But hopefully, eventually, I'll get symmetrical. Right now, I feel like the king of asymmetry. So, it's nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you, David. Thank you.
Awesome. Great job. Thank you, David. Let me remove that one. All right. Who would like to go next? Whoops. Hold on. I got to remove that one. There we go. All right, George.
So, yes, my Romanian spoon is, I don't know if it's a Romanian spoon. It's, I pretty much just, I always just carved one of my spoons, and I made this egg-shaped bowl before. I like to go with the flow and like these lines. I think the only thing I maybe change is that Andrea's spoons usually have like another
Right.
little point up in the back. I go a little bit deeper with the crank to make it more Romanian. But beside that,
beautiful bowl, George. It's really pretty, really nice shape.
Yeah, I use my plum as usually, and yeah, I just used the template to make a nice spoon, I think. And yeah, it felt really natural to carve that shape because it was not, it's not far away from what I do. So I really enjoyed that. Yeah, so thank you for the template.
Thank you.
That's what came out.
Very nice. It looks beautiful, George. That's
does.
so that's more of like a serving spoon size, it looks like, it, or a large eating spoon, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
maybe a little bit big for, but I don't think so much about the use of a spoon when I do it. I just make it a beautiful spoon, and I think the people will find a use if they really like it. So I don't mind so much about, I don't have a plan, this will be an eating spoon or this will be a serving spoon. So I just make a spoon, and the person who likes it will use it for whatever, I guess.
Very good. Excellent. All right. Excellent. Thanks. Gorgeous plum, as always. All right. Who would like to go next? All right, Chris. Oh, you got to unmute yourself.
How's it? Is it there?
Yep, you got it.
Okay. In progress, work in progress.
Oh, lovely.
Very nice.
I think it's still thin, and
very nice. Yeah.
I have a lot of trouble with this angle, making it look smooth. I think I got to take the top down here to make a nice line at the transition. But
yeah, the curves are pretty. Yeah.
But the video I find tremendously helpful. I said, oh, it's too long to watch. And then I started watching, and I love the little details you give. And because it is a different shape and something I haven't tried, forces me to try new grips and handholds. And I love that I learn every time I do one of these. I don't know why it's so washed out. It looks just pure. It is a birch spoon. But
it looks good. I like it.
Yeah, your light might be a bit bright and
yeah, it's coming from a window. I try to do light, but it's not doing it.
That's all right.
So right now I got to work on this. Somehow I got to lower this to make this a nice line.
Yeah, but it looks like you're getting very, very close. You're very close to the. You've got the shape and the swoop of the template, so you're dead on. It's looking great. And the bowl shape looks like it's dead on as well.
Really nice. Really nice.
That shape isn't quite right, and it's thick still, but thick I know how to deal with.
Yeah, but you're in progress. That's okay. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. Excellent.
Thank you very much for the very detailed video. That makes a big difference when you're learning something new.
Absolutely. And Zed does a great job of putting those together. He's got so much great content. Highly recommended. All right. Excellent. Thank you, Chris. Who else has a spoon? John, let me get you spotlighted.
Okay. So I love working with this this template, and I have one of Andrea's spoons from the other type and did some of that template. So this template was really fun to jump into. I ended up making 5. I did 3 in plum and 2 in mimosa, which we'll talk about later. One of the ones I did is this one. This was a kind of a leftover, and so there was not any room to do a crank on it.
Yeah.
And so I decided to use it for just for practicing the chip carving.
Very nice.
And as you can tell, I need a lot more practice
That looks good.
It does.
Yeah, I took Andrea's pattern and then realized that my skills, I couldn't do it small enough to fit on the spoon. So I took out the middle square and then
Yeah,
did the others as practice. So
It worked.
it works great.
It,
Made
it
it your
worked.
own thing. That's great.
Yeah, so I think every spoon pattern I do, I should do at least one chip carved on it. So I keep getting myself to work on that. It's not easy. So then a tree at our church blew down. It was a mimosa, and the pastor called me up and said, "You want some of this wood?" And so I went and grabbed some. And oh man, I do not like mimosa. It's just really I'm sorry, it's a stupid wood. And
It looks great. I gotta tell you, as horrible as it may have been to carve, it looks fantastic.
right, and I feel pretty successful about
Yeah.
the shape.
Should.
I was
Really nice.
It's really kind of a mushy wood. It was really soft and stuff. And coal rosing on it is kind of a lost cause because as soon as I put the coffee on it, the coffee goes into all the pores and stuff.
Yeah.
And this one actually
Did you cold roast the bowl as well, John?
yes.
Yeah, I noticed that in the pictures. It was really beautiful.
Can't see it very well.
The Zoom video, resolution isn't strong enough to really.
Yeah.
It's not sharp
There we
enough.
go.
That one looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
It's actually really kind of cool. So I kind of like the fact that the coffee got into the grain of the wood. I agree. It makes it obscure whatever your intentional cold roast pattern is somewhat, but I like the way it makes the grain pop like that. It looks really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looks neat. So I'm actually now decided to use some of that mimosa and make some quakes.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna experiment with finishing those different ways and stuff. And then I don't have much left of the plum.
Look at
but
that.
I made, oh, by the way, the mimosas, the people that came and two people from the church that came and cut up the wood and left it out for me. I made these for them.
Very nice.
The one's slightly bigger than the other.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then this is one.
Nice.
Pretty successful on this. I got the bowl too thin, and I had to use a little what's that glue?
Epoxy? Oh, super.
Yeah, I used super glue to reinforce the back of the spoon where it started to go through. But and
it looks great.
The coal rosing, I've been watching this tattoo artist called Dr. Wu, and so I was kind of inspired by his some of his tattooing that he did. So
nice. Really cool. Very unique. I like it.
He does a lot of kind of astronomical kind of.
Yeah, that's what it made me think of. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
it's like Stargate charts. Love it.
Right. And then I made this one for my wife, and this I think is my favorite of all that I did.
Yeah, it looks great.
The bowl shape is pretty good. I got it sized that she likes it, and then I'm real happy.
The bowl coal roasting. It's really lovely.
Coal roasting, yeah. The coal roasting was kind of inspired by these designs I found from. I guess I'm not sure what they were used for architecturally or in books or what, but it's like from the 1930s, 1940s.
Very cool.
And up on my Instagram, I have a picture of the original pattern I was going to do, which is similar to this, but it was more curvy back and forth. And then I decided I sanded that out and then restarted with a straight line down the middle, and it came out pretty good. So I'm pretty happy with this one, and I love
You should be. It's spectacular. It looks great.
And unfortunately, the plum I have was very dry,
Oh,
and it's almost all gone. So,
Yeah.
but if I ever find
dry
any more,
plum is not fun to carve.
yeah,
Good on you.
yeah. So it
Yeah,
was hard.
I especially like that coal rosing in the bowl. Really beautiful. That
Really,
pattern
yeah.
works really nicely with that shape. It's really nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's sometimes why I make so many of these. Each one I make, I kind of, make little improvements on what I'm doing and stuff. And so anyway,
Absolutely.
this one is my wife's, and she's having
Hello.
Hello.
It's his favorite because I'm his favorite and he's a smart man.
Happy wife, happy life.
There we go.
Very good.
she's been quilting. Yesterday was her quilt guild, and also 2 granddaughter dance and singing performances. So
Yep.
she's been running around like crazy.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks, John. Spectacular
Thank you for
job.
sharing.
Amazing. All right. Who would like to go next? Who we got left? I think it looks like Kaylin. Do you have something? All right.
Yeah, you did.
I did. I just attempted to do some chip carving, and now I'm cutting a void into my spoon because it did not go well.
You're regretting.
That's why I'm always terrified. Like, I'll carve a nice spoon and I'm like, oh, this would look great with some chip carving. And I'm like, I have not worked on my chip carving. I am not about to ruin a spoon with my first attempt at chip carving.
You can always do a test block, which is very
That's
helpful.
what I got to do.
Usually
I
do
got
that, and
Yeah.
I didn't. And this happens to not only be a lilac spoon, but the handle's a little small for the very detailed curvy pattern. So that was a Kaylin is doing homework on a Rise Up call, which is pretty common. So but I really enjoyed the spoon. The handle shape is something I've carved quite a bit. I do a lot of like dolphin style spoons, which gives a curve into the handle automatically. And so the form of the spoon, this shape I feel like is very similar to like the first year and second year I was carving. This is the eater that I carved a lot in this shape. And I was very lucky. Michael gave me a piece of lilac, and lilac just like is my favorite for getting crisp lines and just really nice shapes.
Gosh, and the spots on it is so, I love it.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah, so there's just a little bit of heartwood in there. And the finish is like glass. So lilac is when you're carving it, it's never fun because it's very hard. And then it twists on you while you're carving it. But once it's done, it is great. And then I tried to do this
I love the colors on it. So
template here. But I'm used to chip carving triangles rather than like oval shapes. So I need to practice on that more. So there's a small void here, but I'll throw a flower into there eventually. So still a work in progress. It was technically done until I decided to add decoration. I always say go for it. Go for it. They're spoons.
Yes, go for it. They're just spoons. Make another one.
Yeah, and even if like this pattern doesn't go on, something unique will happen with this void, and it'll be a little decoration up here. So yeah, I'm really pleased. I feel like the bowl shape I didn't quite get, and I love your bowl shapes, and so I want to try another one just to get the shoulders up a little further and a little higher. This definitely turned into a my bowl, but I want to give a second.
It's funny how we end up doing that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like I've been intentionally carving a completely different shape, and at the beginning when I did that, most of them were the same shape as the Romanian spoons until I just forced myself out of it.
It's habit. It's like you have your knife grips, and by the time I did like this on the bowl, it turned it from a your bowl into a my bowl really quick. I don't know what the angle of that took my corners off. But it's that muscle memory, bringing it back into form. But again, this is one of my favorite like handle side profiles. And I know yours is a little bit curvier, so I want to attempt that. This lilac was pretty small. But yeah, thank you for the template. And I have not had a chance to watch your Zed videos, but I'm very thrilled for that. Deborah's video was one of the first things I watched when I got into spoon carving. So it's really special that you got to stay with her and do that.
I know, it was just like,
world. That's
that
fun.
was my first video, and it was just full on circle to be back there. It was really
that's
special.
fun. And I love your bringing kind of folk art is the term that I hear a lot used when it's like cultural art that's brought into work. And I went up to Canada last year to go to a carving workshop that was primarily Indigenous carvers. And one of the carvers, he's a professor, and talked about each person looking at their cultural heritage to like bring that back. And he said, especially kind of as Chuck was saying, in the US, a lot of times, like when our immigrant families came here, they wanted to get rid of their culture because they wanted to be a part of the newness.
Yeah.
And after that workshop, I actually dug into a lot of our family history. And I come from Germans who were in Russia, Volga Germans, Black Sea Germans.
Wow.
And I was looking up their cultural art, and it was storytelling. And I'm like, that's not useful to my woodworking, but I love it.
Work on your letter chip carving. And
there you go. Yeah, the chipping of letters. And then I looked up too, most of those people ended up in North and South Dakota, and then in Alberta and Canada. And their art ended up being wrought iron crosses. So instead of like wooden crosses in cemeteries or headstones, they have these wrought iron crosses, and then they do iron roses so that they're like always in bloom, because it's in like North and South Dakota are frigidly cold.
Yeah.
And so I don't remember seeing those as a kid, but the next time I get to visit family out there, I'm going to take some photos to see like what those curves and swirls and can be.
Yeah.
I'm the same as Chuck. Like I have a lot of heritage in food, and my dad is a storyteller, so that as well. But the art piece, I always really love, like rose malling, like the painted flowers and things like that. But it'd be interesting to see what of that comes from our family as well. But for farmers, they didn't have much, so we didn't have a lot of that. But the wrought iron crosses and storytelling, it'll be interesting to see how we can bring that. So thank you, Andreea, for just sharing that part of your carving journey. And I have loved, because I love like the floral paintings and things like that. I really love the handles that you're doing. I think they're super inspiring. So been fun to see.
Very cool. Hey, just out of curiosity, what are you using for a chip carving knife?
So I just swapped one because one wasn't working, but normally I use the lamb's foot, and this is the one that I got from Hewn and Hone. So you can order that on, and then I just made my own handle. And this works insanely brilliantly for triangles, like chip, chip, chip. It's great because you just push it down. But trying to do like the little ovoids, it digs in too deep, and then it gets a little chippy. And so I have this one from North Bay Forge, who is a knife maker here in Washington.
Oh, that's nice.
And he does a little bit more of like the traditional Pacific Northwest Indigenous carving knives, but this one works well for doing small circles. It's usually what I use for my lettering. So I'm going to give this a shot to see if that will help the shape a little bit better in the chips.
Yeah, I just got one of the Hewn and Hone chip carving blades. I have to get it handled.
Next template.
Yeah, I know.
Transition.
Right?
George, I'm excited.
Well, between that and the two Nick Westerman left and right faucets that I have to get handles on.
I'm excited about that.
Look at all those handles.
I've got so many handles that I have to do. It's pathetic.
That's too funny.
That's why I was asking. So Andreea, just quickly, what are you using for a chip carving knife?
Yeah, I was looking to show you. I've been using the one that I got from Peter, which I love.
Okay.
And it's, I mean, it's just, I guess, a little bit thinner towards the tip, but not too much. This is the one that is the hewn and hone.
Yeah.
And this one is just a little bit more narrower and a little bit more limber at the tip. It's also, I think, a bit thicker. So you can go really deep. I mean, that he made them because he does the carving on this axe handles.
Yeah, yeah.
But, I don't really need it to be that strong, but I like it because it's very strong and it's thin enough at the tip so I can do curves with it as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, this one is much harder to do curves with. And I also, for the longest time, I've used the one from, I don't have it here because I'm just minimizing my toolbox.
Yeah.
I've used the one from Flex Cut a lot, the flat one at the beginning. That's really good for triangles. And for the curvy ones, I've just used this one. For curvy lines.
You talking about the angled one? This one?
Yes. Yes, that one. Yeah.
Yep.
That's
all right, cool.
A lot. So between these two, I have other ones that are a little bit more limber at the tip, but I just gotten used to these. So I think with chip carving knives, it's so much about what you're getting used to using, and then figuring out that memory of the angle that you're cutting and how it's moving into the wood. So I'm a little bit wary to change it, but I probably could.
Yep. All right. Awesome. All right. Who else has an Andreea spoon that they have not yet had a chance to show? Anybody? Phil? Colin? Barbara, I see you've joined us. Welcome.
Yes, but I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
I'll take my spoon.
All right. Let me spotlight you real quick.
So actually I made 2 of them.
Excellent.
Woo.
First time using cherry wood.
Nice.
You like it?
It's very bad lighting, I think.
No, it's
no, it's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I added a little finial on this one.
Nice.
But I don't think sorry for my English.
No, it's okay.
I don't think I get the keel here and the shape of the handle.
Yeah, the side profile. Yeah,
I think it
looks like you got a little thin.
But I had tried another one, and I think it's a little bit better.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
So these are the 2.
Excellent. They look fantastic.
Thank
this
you.
one is just I have just drawn on it for some chip carving.
Excellent.
And this one is done, but I don't think you can see it. I don't know.
You do some cold rosing?
This chip carving just here.
Yeah. Yeah, the resolution.
Oh,
there it is.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, that's beautiful.
That's fantastic.
Oh, goodness. This is beautiful, Barbara. I love it.
Thank you.
Very nice.
And I just played with some colors in the wood where I put some chip carving on. That's the thing I'm searching for throughout my work. To not put chip carving just on the handle, but to search for little details where I can put some little chip carvings on it.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. It's really, really cool.
So,
where are you located, Barbara?
In Belgium.
Belgium, excellent.
Yes.
All right.
So
well, welcome.
Thank you. I'm not. I'm only carving spoons for about 10 months or something.
Oh, you're doing fantastic for 10 months.
So
Good for you. That's
I'm not sure of myself, but that's my first time here showing a spoon to all of you. And
Excellent. Well, that's you hit it well. An idiom we would use here in the U.S. is a baseball idiom. You hit it out of the park. You hit a home run. It looked fantastic. You scored a goal.
Thank you.
Excellent. Great job and welcome. We're very happy to have you here with us.
Thank you. I really loved making this shape. It's a bigger spoon than I normally make. And I think I really have to do some work on this curve, the curviness on the handles, because that's still a difficult for me, because I made very cranky spoons, and this is just, I think, another kind of crank that I'm used to work with.
Yeah.
So
good. Something different. It's always nice to do something different.
yes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. Well, fantastic job. Thanks.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for sharing. Beautiful.
All right. George, are you around for a while?
Yes, I will be around for a while.
Okay. Colin, do you have anything to show or no?
Sadly not. I haven't got around to doing this template yet.
Nope, no worries. I didn't get to either, so it's all right.
Dropped in just
Phil,
to the conversation, really, so that's good. Thanks.
cheers, no problem. Phil, did you have anything to show or no? Okay. All right, then I think we've gotten through everybody. So then the last thing that I'll say then is our RUAC Spoon Challenge at 53 are knife handles. So we have Sloyd knife handles and hook knife handles with some shapes by both George and Phil. And they have very kindly agreed to do a demo for us of their knife handle making and setting, hopefully, the blade into it. They're going to do that tomorrow, Sunday, at 9 a.m. Eastern. So that would probably be 3 in the afternoon in Germany and or Belgium.
Yes, exactly.
So yeah, so we're looking forward to that. Thank you very much, guys. Do you have anything you want to say about it?
Yeah, I'm just preparing. So I'm just banging out different kind of shapes and different kind of handles, different kind of woods, different kind of ways to fit in the blade into the handle. So yeah, happy if you would like to join tomorrow. I think Phil and me would try to get a big thought of, because everybody has like blades lying around many times, not doing any handles. So I thought this would spice up the spoon challenge a little bit to get the people to handle their blades maybe. Or sometimes it's also really nice because Nick Westerman just sells blades and not handles. So if you get the chance to get these, you have to deal with the handle. Sometimes the blade is much cheaper when you just buy the blade. And I think it's really nice to modify your handle to your hand and to your size and to whatever you want. And if you get a little bit less precious about it, it makes it nice and easy.
Yep. The other thing is you might have some knives that you bought that had handles on them that maybe you're no longer happy with. Maybe you want to strip those handles off and do something more customized to your hand, like George says. So maybe it's a Mora. I found that the Mora knife handle, the 106 and the 120 standard Mora knife handle, my hands would get cramped after a while of using those. So yep, you can pull the wood right off of those and you can come up with your own knife handles. So really excited. This is going to be a good challenge. I think it'll be very helpful for a lot of people. So thank you, George and Phil, for helping us out with that. So
yeah. I even made a handle for, how do you call this, sewing needle or no, knitting.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. And I have still a draw knife from Sunny I want to handle, and yeah, quite a few things to do.
Awesome. Excellent.
a thought it comes into my mind to make a handle a day, maybe until the show and tell or something.
Very good. All right.
A day, keep the doctor away.
Thanks so much, George. All right, with that, I think we are pretty much all done. Andreea, one more time, thank you so much for all you do and all the work that you're putting out there. It's fantastic. It's been so exciting to follow your journey. Thank you for being the wonderful support to RUAC that you've shown us in your interviews and your talks with people. So we really appreciate having you as part of like Rise Up and Carve. So thanks so much. And with that, Andreea, did you have any last words you wanted to say?
No, that's it.
All right, that's it, everybody. That's it for RUAC Spoon Challenge 52. See you next time for RUAC Spoon Challenge 53. Cheers, all.
Bye.